So Fire Force just dropped episode of the year the other day, and it's not for the reason that you think. Fire Force isn't looked too very highly upon in the anime community, and that's for one reason. Fan service. So naturally, when this episode dropped, everyone up and down was hating on it, calling it Gooner series, Gooner anime, fan service bait, you know, the whole nine, bro. But I just gotta say one thing. If you truly believe that this episode was about fan service, you missed the plot. So to give a little context, this was one of the biggest fights in the final arc of Fire Force with the Tamaki and Assault fight. And the reason why Fire Force gets so much hate is from this character right here, Tamaki. And what makes her so hated is that she has a quirk named Lucky Leecher Lure, which basically makes her stumble into intimate and suggestive situations involuntarily, more or less. So if you didn't understand that, her quirk is basically just fan service. And in the story of Fire Force, she is always very ashamed of this quirk and that she wished she never had it, essentially. But in this episode, she finally accepts the quirk for what it is, and she embraces every single second of it, essentially giving her a power-up. So naturally, when this episode aired, everyone was talking shit on it, calling it Gooner bait, you know, Gooner series, Fire fan service, you know, the whole nine, bro. But this fight is not why I want to make this video. I actually want to make this video because of this top corner scene right here. So let's get into it. I'm gonna use the manga to show off this scene just so I don't get nuked by copyright from Japan. And to start off, this character right here is Lady Samir, but somehow she got transported into real life. To start off this scene, Lady Samir basically is talking about the great cataclysm that happened over 250 years ago, which is essentially just a mass burning of the entire world. But then she gets to a part in the scene where she starts spitting some dialogue that is actually, in my eyes, pretty relevant to what kind of issues we're dealing with today. She says that there's no such thing with a human with an independent will. All is swept up in that of religion or government. And throughout the ages, even if humans have thought they have made decisions of their own free will, in the end, the target of their worship has simply changed, nothing more. Today's humans believe in TV and internet like religion. They are being swept along mindlessly by the fads that they see. She goes on to say that you people worship tons of meaningless opinions on social networks, getting swept up in trends and rumors without ever stopping to think for yourselves. Shall we proceed? She goes on to say that if you take a quick peek at social media, you'll quickly notice people being swept up by perpetrating trends, hoaxes, and meaningless booms. They swarm around whatever's popular like bugs. And when I heard this dialogue, dude, I really started to think, I was like, holy shit, this is real, bro. Because essentially she's saying that human beings have no free will and that they're literally just following trends they find online. And to some extent, I kind of believe that it's true. Human beings naturally want to feel in a collective. They naturally want to feel belong. They naturally want to, you know, be loved by a group of people. So naturally, we're gonna follow whatever the masses are doing because we want to feel included. And sure, this is probably more or less a positive thing because, you know, as human beings, we're social creatures and we like to come together and, you know, make friends and, you know, enjoy family and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it can also be pretty negative, especially on the internet. I mean, let's be real. Who's calling Black Clover Copy Clover just because it's trendy on the internet? Who's calling One Piece too long because it's trendy on the internet? And shit, even I'm guilty of this. Who is calling Boruto trash because it's trendy on the internet? The point I'm trying to highlight and that Fire Force makes very apparent is that a lot of people don't form their own opinions. That a lot of them just follow this mob mentality, if you will. That instead of doing their own research and forming their own opinion, or at least listening to both sides of the argument, people just go whatever the popular decision is, whether it's right or it's wrong. And I already know by making this video, a lot of people are gonna misconstrue my words and, you know, take my words out of context. It's guaranteed if you're making a video on fan service, you're gonna get those check his hard drive comments and, you know, all these other things, bro. But as far as I'm concerned, I know I'm not doing anything wrong, and there's no one that can tell me otherwise that would make me change my mind. And that to form my own opinion, I will do my own research to come to a conclusion, or bare minimum, I will listen to both sides of the argument. And this goes way deeper than just anime, bro. This is not just about anime, this is not just about manga, this is literally about life and who you trust in general, bro. You know, growing up, my dad taught me a lot of like life lessons and, you know, things to remember as I'm growing up. And one thing he always told me is to always be a leader, not a follower. And at the time, I really didn't know what that really meant. He kind of tried to explain it to me, saying that, you know, if your friends are gonna jump off a bridge, are you gonna jump off that same bridge? And obviously the answer is no, right? But I never really understood what that really meant. You know what I mean? That's obviously no, I'm not going to jump off a bridge if someone else jumps off a bridge, obviously. But then I start to grow up and, you know, get some more experiences and stuff like that. And it really made me like think about that saying a lot more as I grew up. You know, do I really believe in this, or am I just following a fucking trend, or, you know, someone that told me online? You know what I mean? And I believe a lot of people on the internet are like this exact scenario where, you know, they hear some opinion online, they read some big article, some big headline, and all of a sudden their mind's made up. You can't change it. They didn't do any research. They didn't, you know, listen to the other side of the story. Very close-minded, to, you know, to say the least. And it's unfortunate that, you know, we live in this reality. Because one thing that's kind of crazy is that Okubo wrote this chapter in 2021. And at that time, these issues were only starting to just appear. Like, you know, they're still in the early infant stages of, you know, mob mentality and collectivism on, you know, whatever issues that you're trying to battle. And it's crazy that that was 5 years ago. It's only gotten worse since then. And since I don't want to yap in your face forever and, you know, give these life lessons, because I already know this video is going to get, you know, the check his hard drive and, you know, self-report comments up the wazoo, bro. So I'm not going to make it as long. But I'm just going to leave you with this, bro. Next time you see a headline, you see an opinion online, or you just see anything that makes you feel very strongly, I strongly urge you to, at least at the very bare minimum, bro, at least listen to the opposing side. Whether that changes your mind or not, the bare minimum is that you should be hearing them out. So I think probably 99% of the time people have good intentions, but for whatever reason, everyone wants to misconstrued words. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like down below, hit the sub button if you want to see some more content, follow your boy on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter for some more exclusive posts, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.